Hi guys, my name is Jesse. If you've tuned in to do Zumba, unfortunately that's not going to be happening today due to a sick instructor who's doing the right thing and staying home. What I'm going to be doing instead is offering you a higher intensity class. So it's not going to be the same kind of dance fitness, but I am seeking to get you guys hot and sweaty and give you a good 45-minute workout. I'm assuming that there might be still a few people logging on, maybe working out some of the kinks and bugs with the internet as they're trying to get this video up and running. So we'll go over all our safety stuff before we properly start. So if you're new to exercise, actually really if you've been doing exercise for ages, you want to remember that there's always an inherent risk of injury when we're moving our bodies around. And unfortunately, because I'm not there in person, I won't be there to be able to perform first aid on you, and so you're going to have to be your first and sadly only line of defense. Strong encouragement is only perform exercises that you feel suited to. I'm going to do my best to run a workout that I think is going to be suitable to just about everybody. But of course, let's say for example, you've recently had a knee reconstruction, or you've recently fractured your wrist or something like that. There's going to be all sorts of conditions that could exist out there where I want you to take liberties to modify and adapt exercises to suit yourself, rather than feeling like you've got to kind of grit your teeth and just plow your way through. Having said all that, hopefully we're all going to get on just fine. It is higher intensity. We're going to be kind of jumping around and moving, and so the only other thing to factor in is the state of our head and our stomach. If you start to see stars, or if you start to feel a little bit faint or dizzy, stop and have a rest, have some water, catch your breath, because you can potentially push yourself so far that you actually start to feel rather faint or even throw up, and that is not a good thing. Throwing up as a result of exercise, we want to steer clear from that as much as possible. Now that all that's out of the way, hopefully everyone who's going to join me is logged on. If you're working in and around your home, I'm hoping you have access to some sort of seat, whether that's your couch, a stool, somewhere, some sort of seating device. You've got to have something like that around and about. Take a moment to grab a chair, pull it over, readjust your laptop so it's in front of your couch, because we're going to use this little seat, stool, box, whatever you have, a few times a day, and we are going to use it for our warm-up. So, we're going to be doing lots of AMRAP style training today. AMRAP, as many reps as possible. I'm going to be using 1-minute timers. I've got a nice loud beep on my little timing device. Hopefully it translates through the camera. Our first 3 exercises: box squat, tricep dip, leg extension. Our box squat off of your seat, as high or as low as it might be, we're going to rise and sit all the way down, not halfway down, all the way down, that we have a nice measurable distance every time we squat. Our tricep dip, off of that same object, we'll be dropping our bottom down towards the ground, keeping all the load in our arms, and finally our leg extension, feet are up off of the ground, we're stretching our legs, pulling them right back in towards our tummy. 3 minutes, 3 exercises, 1 minute of each. We start on the buzzer, which is in about 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, let's squat, guys. So a full minute here, first minute, first round. We're not trying to go at a million miles an hour straight away, but we are trying to go at a decent amount of pace. It's worth mentioning, the lower the object you're sitting and standing from, the harder this is going to be. So if you're using a really high bar stool and you're finding this quite easy, maybe see if you've got something lower around the house that you can be dropping your bottom down to and standing again. First few repetitions, first 30 seconds, there's going to be a few clicks and creaks in the knees and the ankles, but as we get the blood flowing, as we get the joints warm and the muscles start activating, that is going to vanish. Our second time round, we're going to be able to push a whole lot harder and faster. 15 seconds remain. We'll hear those beeps in a second. Nice. Quick break, chill out. We're taking a seat, getting ready for our second exercise, which were those dips. So we want hands right at the front edge of our chair, thumbs in the air. Here we go. So we're going to go through that same process that we did with the legs. Now we're up in the arms though. So wrists, elbows, shoulders, those major joints in the arm limb, those are going to be warming, stimulating. And so we start at a comfortable pace. The intensity will come later, once we're warmer, once we're really ready for action. 15 seconds to go. Park yourself on your chair. We did the lower body with the upper body. Now we're joining those two hemispheres. All in that midsection now. Legs up, stretch, and retract. Now the position of my hands can be wherever you want. It could be out in front of your body, behind your body. It could be in the air if you really want to push yourself. Wherever they feel most comfortable, that's just fine. About halfway here. Now what we probably noticed on both of those other exercises, first 30 seconds, we're cruising. So once we hit about that midpoint, that's when things start to get tricky. That's when our body starts to feel heavier. That's when we probably want to hit the brakes. But my strong encouragement, keep going, keep pushing, keep those muscles working. Legs down. That was round one. We're going to be feeling warmer. We're going to feel our heart rate has increased, our core temperature has increased. Those are all good things. It's exactly what we want. I'm going to do that same whole process one more time. Now that I'm a bit warmer, I'm going to try go at a little bit more pace, a little bit more intensity, see if we can elevate all these things that little bit further. Nice. I'm going to give us another few seconds. If you have water nearby, and you're going to be drinking frequently in between intervals, you want to make sure that you're only taking little sips at a time. If you really start guzzling that stuff down and then try to continue exercising with a belly full of water, you are going to give yourself an abdominal cramp, otherwise known as a stitch, and it becomes very unpleasant trying to exercise through that. So what we're looking for is that ability to breathe with a little bit more intentionality. I suggest we're in control. We're ready for that next round. Same thing, starting with those squats, faster this time. All right. Now remember, even though we've added speed, we've got that same depth. It's no good losing half of our squat. The best half is the low half. That's when those muscles are really engaged. So get right down there every time. $15 seconds to go. We've made it 3/4. We just have that last little bit. Give those legs a quick shake. Exercise number 2, triceps. Here we go. Remember, keep them quick this time. Now I'm going to say it earlier rather than later. If you hit that point of burnout where you feel you need to stop, give those arms a shake, get back in. Let's do as many as we can over the course of this minute. $20 seconds to go. Longest 20 seconds of our lives. those arms a shake. Third round, last round, all in the stomach. Legs are up, stretch, pull it back in, nice and fast. Past halfway, guys. About 24 seconds left. Nice. Again, assess. Hopefully we're feeling that heart rate elevated, core temperature up a little bit higher, muscles feeling that a little bit more fatigued. While we're taking an opportunity to rest, again having a little sip of water, maybe this is also a good opportunity to discuss what we might be feeling. That last exercise, those leg extensions, most of us will be feeling a little bit more than just those core muscles, just the abs. We'll be swearing that we're feeling our quads, our legs as well. But let me maybe identify what you're actually feeling. If it kind of feels like the front of your leg, but right at the top, what you're actually feeling are your hip flexors. Those little muscles that sit at the front of the hips, and those muscles are directly responsible for that contraction at that hip joint. That will be why we're feeling that fatigue seemingly at the top of our leg. It's still one of the core muscles, still located in and around the abs. It's not the quads. And that's a good news because we're going to take a break from that timer, from that box. We're going to spend a lot of time in our legs now. So when you're ready, up on your feet, I'm going to introduce you to 3 different movements. So follow along with me as we practice. The first one is a squat jump. We're touching the ground. We're going to hop off the floor. That's the entirety of the movement. We touch and jump, touch and jump. So there are a few different ways we can modify this depending on how strong and fit or unfit or incapable we are currently feeling. Now the biggest one, if we want to make this a little bit easier, whether we have niggling knee injuries or we're just finding this a little bit too demanding, is just to take away the jump. Still touching the floor and standing, there's a whole lot less impact once we take away that plyometric component to the exercise. If you want more intensity, you're not going to be satisfied with just a tiny jump. You're going to the roof every single time. You're going to try and really launch. And if you are launching, whether it's low or high, we're landing soft. So you're going to come straight back down to the floor rather than landing on rigid legs and then going to our next squat. That's exercise 1. Exercise 2 is in 2 halves. I'm going to choose one leg only. In this case, my right leg. I'm going to take a forward stepping lunge. Big push up into a backward stepping lunge. So I'm going forwards and backwards and forwards. It's only that one leg that is moving. We want to tone it down a little bit. We added an extra step. From our lunge, step feet together and apart, feet together and apart. And that moment where we bring our feet together gives you a chance to stabilize and find your balance. We're going to go from one leg straight over to the other leg. So that's exercise 2 in 2 halves. Exercise 3, similar, but I'm going to do this front on. We have our skater. It's like a curtsy lunge. So now my back leg is going to come right across my body. I mean, this is an extreme, but we're lunging or skating from one side to the other. Now the shallower that skate, the easier this will be to control, but we definitely want to try and create some sort of crossover between our legs. All right, 3 movements. We have our squat jump, we have our lunges, and we have our skaters. Going for numbers this time, we're going to do 10 repetitions of each. So it's 10, 10, 10, 10. Once we've gone full circuit, we're going to do 8 of each. Then we're going to do 6 of each, 4 of each, 2 of each. As fast or as slow as you need. If you get it, you can begin already. I'm going to go at what I perceive to be a medium pace. I'm even going to stop for some little rests in between sets, maybe offer some advice, some coaching. But the idea here is to try and power through as fast as you can. If you've already begun, if you're thinking, oh, I'm a little bit fitter, I can play handle a little bit more, see if you can get through 2 full rounds by the time I do 1. So we're going to count down from 10 to 2 and then try do it again. So those of you who have been stalling for time and waiting for me, we begin when you're ready. 3, 2, 1. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up onto one leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straight your right skaters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. If you're ready, you're going straight into those 8s. Remember, if you're stopping for a breather, the goal is to get to the point where you can control your breath. If you're going for water, little sips, just enough to wet the palate and refresh yourself. And as soon as you feel ready, we're getting back into it, going for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The slow part. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank goodness it's getting smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Skate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now remember, you don't need to wait for me. My hope is in giving you adequate time to punch through this and beat me to the finish line. So if you've started trailing behind already, use these times where I'm stopping, I'm resting to try and catch up and get as far ahead of me as you can. Remember, round 3, we're dropping by 2, so it's 6 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breather. 4s are up next. I'm going to give people another 15 seconds to catch up, get ahead. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spin around, let's do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. 4 skaters. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, surely you don't need as much reps. We're going for 2s now. Beat me to the finish line. Remember, if you're already miles ahead, then you're restarting at 10 and see how close you can get to finishing that second round. If you're quick enough to get through 2 full rounds of 10 all the way to 2, definitely leave a comment, guys. Brag about it. Maybe we'll give you a high five somewhere in the future when we're allowed to do that sort of thing again. All right, here we go. The easy one, 2s. 1, 2. There's 1. There's 2. Other side. 1, 2. Come on, don't let me beat you. I've given you ample time. There's 2, guys. Shake it off. Whoa. Right. Regardless of how fast or slow you were going, this should be just about the pinnacle of our heart rate for this session. It's not going to get much higher than this. We also therefore need to give it adequate time to come back down. It's part of the nature of interval training. If our heart rate doesn't spike and return, it's not really an interval then. It's just this constant high. And so we're being intentional about not only spiking our heart rate, but also bringing it back down, which means when we spike it again next, we're going to be able to hit that next round that much harder, that much more intensely. Little sips. You can pace on the spot, you can sit down, do what you need to do to unwind, to cool down. All right. You'll notice I have this lovely towel out on the ground. Hoping at home you've got access to a mat, or at least you're working on a carpeted surface, some sort of comfy surface. What I'm about to do now is lie myself down on the ground with my feet hard up against the front edge of that same seat or chair that I was using before. Now I don't want to get lazy and just let my legs rest on the top. I'm intentionally keeping my feet at the front so that my core has to do at least a little bit of work. Here we're going to do a little sit-up with a twist. So my hands behind my head, I sit, twist in an attempt to get elbow to knee, and then I'm lying back down on the ground. Sit, twist over the other side, come back down. So the purpose of this bench really is to stop me just pulling my knees into my elbows, and instead force my torso to do the work to really lift and reach for those knees. So now that we know that, manipulating the position of our body on the ground can make things easier or harder depending on what you need. If you want to make things easier, you've got to be in closer. So the closer my knees are to me at the beginning of this movement, the easier it's going to be. If I move the opposite direction, if I get further away, then of course I have a heck of a lot further to travel to get my elbows over to those knees. So there's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2, we're going to flip over from our knees or toes facing our bench. We are going to do a Cobra Push Up. We get low, not touching, close. Shift your body weight one side, shift it back the other side, and then from center, we climb. So it's like a push-up with a little hover in the middle. We go down, left, right, and up. And then our third exercise is a little toe tap. Again, not on the top of our chair, just to the front. We're just jogging on the spot, giving our bench, giving our stool a little kick, nice and fast. I'm bringing back those 1-minute rounds. So 3 exercises, 3 minutes. Let's start on our backs. You'll hear the countdown from 3. Let's go. Nice big twists from one side to the other. A full minute in our abs. Unlike our warm-up, guys, we don't need to start slow. We're right in the belly of our workout now, excuse the pun, and we're going to hit this hard. We're going to really try and smash out as many twists as we physically can. If you hit the point in this round where you're struggling to get up, that's good. Consider that a victory. If you get to the end of this minute still feeling like you can keep going, kind of means you're holding back. I want nothing left. I want you to use every ounce of energy you have in these minutes. 12 seconds, guys. Come on. Seconds to flip ourselves over, and we're doing that cobra. Of course, if that little hover gets too hard, just turn it into a push-up. So we're down, shift one side, shift the other, and come back up. 10 seconds left. If you're struggling, remember, just finish with some regular push-ups. Lose the cobra. We're up on our feet. Definitely the easiest of the lot. Therefore, the opportunity to push the hardest, the fastest. We're just kicking the front of our chair. Here we go. Nice and fast. Jogging on the spot. And the reason I definitely want us kicking the front of our chair instead of standing on top is we're not putting any weight on this top leg. Just a little tap. So we're just jumping from one leg to the other. Nice and quick, nice and light. Down to 20 seconds. Keep it moving. Of course, if you need to tone this one down, try and push on, but we can at least turn this into an alternating step. If you've got that energy, keep that nice light bounce going. Channel your inner Muhammad Ali. All right, take a break there. It's one round done, one to go. We're gonna do that all again. Consider that first one the practice round. Now that we know what we're in for, we can make a more educated guess round two on how hard and fast we need to push. Remember, I want us to exhaust ourselves on each of these three. If we can hit the point where we're exhausted and we need to tap out, that is a victory. Don't consider it a victory if you make it to the end easy. That means you are holding back. So for myself, personally, that last round, definitely holding back. The one thing I would use as an excuse for myself, so I need to be able to communicate clearly. If I genuinely exhaust myself, you're not going to hear me talk anymore. I'm going to be just trying to catch my breath. So we'll call it a courtesy. A wink, wink. Courtesy to you guys, I'm going to hold back a little bit so I can breathe. But you, push yourself. I'm going to give us about another 10 seconds. In that 10 seconds, let's make our way down onto our back. Feet up, front edge of our chair. Alright, waiting for the buzzer. Let's do it, guys. Twist. Halfway. It was much harder that time around. Alright, getting ready for that push up with the Cobra. Now we're down to about halfway, guys. Remember, if you've got nothing left in the tank, turn this into a push-up. Regardless of whether you've got that Cobra element or not, final 10 seconds, we're going to attempt to do this off of our toes. "12, 11, 10. Up we go, guys. Let's push really hard for this final little bit. Getting up on our feet. Final round. Nice quick toe taps. "10 seconds. Come on. Faster now. Dig deep. Lovely. All right. As per usual, at the end of an interval, here's an opportunity for a little break, a little breather. Remember, if the heart rate's up, if that core temperature's up, we're going to do our best within a short period of time to bring it back down. Cool. All right. So, the deal now, if we try to do prolonged sets the way that we've just been doing, we're going to more readily, more quickly hit that ceiling. We're going to more rapidly hit those points in time when our body just doesn't want to respond. Our head starts to feel a little bit light. Maybe we're even pushing into the realm of starting to feel faint. So we're going to start to shorten the duration of our rounds. We're going to work 1 minute at a time, one exercise. So things are going to get nice and simple. Once we've had an opportunity to really bring that heart rate down, we're going to do 1 minute of frogs. What is a frog, I hear you ask? Good question. What I'm going to be doing, just standing flat, is resting my elbows on my knees, hands together. A frog is a rocking motion without my elbows and knees separating. I'm going to lift my bottom to the ceiling as high as I can, drop my bottom down towards the floor. Up and down, up, down, up and down. So hopefully you can see all I'm doing is leaning forward, leaning back. You're going to be limited on the way up by your hamstring flexibility. So if you're quite tight, you're going to hit a limit. That's okay. Same on the way down. If you're really tight through your hips, you're not going to be able to get quite as far down. Just work the range that your legs enable. We're going for speed. What I want you guys to do is try and count your repetitions. Every time your butt rises, count 1. 60 seconds, my goal is going to be to try and hit 80 of these. Let's get that towel out of the way. I just want 1 minute on my timer. So we're starting to psych ourselves up as many reps as possible. 1 minute. All right, elbows in position, hands in position. I'll give you my count at the end of this so you can compare. If you can beat me, very well done. Up we go. That's time right there. All right, my number, my count that minute, 74, 7-4. How did you do? Were you able to hit that 80 that I dangled out in front of us like a carrot? Or did you hit that wall much sooner? Regardless, hopefully we're at another point of time. Heart's pounding, probably the quadriceps throbbing. All of that is good. Shake it off, walk, breathe, recover. All right, same idea, same concept, different exercise. Okay, we will work for a minute again. It's going to be harder to push the whole way through the minute. We're going to lie ourselves out nice and tall, hands right overhead, legs long. The first part of the exercise is lovely, we can do this all day, but once that timer starts, we're going to try and crank out as many V-snaps as we can in a minute. That means we are going to explode on the way up, coming right up onto our bottom, like a little cannonball tucked up. There's one repetition, but then we open up. I want hands to hit the floor, I want heels to hit the floor. So we're not just doing a little V-sit and pulsing away for a minute, we're going to do full V-snaps. Now again, if I'm going to try and give you a realistic yet challenging number to aim for, I'm going to pick the number 25. It's a lot less than 80. Hopefully that's alluringly small, but that is going to be a challenge. 25 is going to be tricky over the course of 60 seconds. Lie yourselves down flat. Alright, waiting for that buzzer, guys. Start strong. Yeah, we're on. Time there. How'd you do, guys? If you think you pipped me, I managed to squeeze in 32, guys. Major bragging rights if you got 33 or more. Again, feel free to post them underneath the video. Brag, let everyone know that you smashed me. Oh. Otherwise, what we want to do is bring ourselves up to our bottoms. We're going to have ourselves a little stretch. Now really, I've saved about 5 minutes for a stretch. It's not really adequate time, but really, I would back up a 45-minute workout with a 45-minute stretch. And I imagine many of you are prepared to listen to me for 90 minutes. So we're just going to do a little mini one, hoping and assuming that you do a little bit more in your own time. We want one straight leg, one bent leg right out in front of me. The idea here, 2 hands together, reaching for those toes. If you can't reach your toes, ankle, calf, knee. Find something in your leg that you feel you can grab onto reasonably comfortably. And so it doesn't have to be your outermost extreme. You want to be able to hold on and then ever so slightly pull your body weight forwards. We're wanting to find that stretch or that pulling sensation in the underside of that extended leg. We're going to double up in our stretches with some breathing drills, which will help slow our heart rate and slow our breathing rate. Deep intentional breaths in through the nose, trying to fill our lungs to capacity, breathing out through the mouth. I suppose the little game you can make of this breathing drill, if you need something to focus on, some sort of way to measure your success here, you're trying to slow your breath down as much as you physically can without holding your breath. So I'm not simply trying to inhale and hold it as long as I can. No, I'm actually trying to slow down the inhaling phase of my breath. So it's the actual breath component itself that slows down. Let's change those legs. Same stretch, other side. Remember, reach, toes, foot, ankle, shin, knee. Wherever you feel you can get a good grip, hold on, lean in, breathe deeply. So set ourselves up. One more. I'm going to get you up onto your feet. Ugh. Take a wide-ish stance as if we're about to do some squats. Again, the idea here, lock out those knees. I want you to flop forward at the waist, letting your head, hands, shoulders dangle down near the ground. We're trying to keep those knees locked out. Again, wanting to feel that stretch of the posterior side of our legs. I'm not going to be able to do a full body stretch, but I can at least stretch the back side of your legs quite well. And again, just like our other two stretches, breathe deeply. Have little bends to those knees. Slowly roll yourself up to standing. By now, you're still going to be quite warm, but hopefully that heart rate has slowed right down. Your breathing rate has slowed right down. Time to rehydrate. Now it's time to really guzzle down that water and replace all that we lost. Guys, that brings us to the end of our class. Remember, lockdown has extended for another 4 weeks. Another way of thinking about it, these online videos have extended for at least another 4 weeks. We'll continue to try to serve you guys. So I'll see you online next time, guys. Until then, have a great day. Stay safe.